Hello, everyone. Gemma and Jeff here.
Hi, everyone.
Today, we're taking you deep into the chilling mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident.
Oh, yeah, this one's a classic.
Right. It's February 1959, the heart of the Ural Mountains in Russia.
So cold.
Oh, yeah, brutal conditions. Imagine a group of 10 experienced ski hikers, young and adventurous, venturing into the snowy wilderness.
That's the dream, though, right?
For some people.
Yeah, definitely for me.
But this isn't just some spooky campfire story. This is a real-life mystery that has baffled investigators for decades.
Absolutely, and for good reason.
And these weren't novice hikers. They were led by Igor Dyatlov, a seasoned trekker, which makes their disappearance even more perplexing.
It really is a case where, every detail seems to just deepen the mystery instead of giving you any answer.
Exactly. This group, mostly students from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, had meticulously planned their route through this unforgiving landscape. 8 men, 2 women, all eager to test their limits against the elements.
Sounds like a pretty tight-knit group.
Yeah, they seem to be. But before they even set foot on the mountain, fate takes a turn. One of the hikers, Yuri Udin, gets sick and has to head back.
Oh, wow.
Little did he know this decision would make him the sole survivor of the expedition.
That's heavy.
It really is. Imagine the search party reaching their last known campsite weeks later. They expected to find them huddled in their tents, braving the harsh conditions. Instead, they find a scene straight out of a nightmare.
Yeah, that discovery is where the real chills set in.
Absolutely. The tent was ripped open from the inside, belongings scattered everywhere, and footprints leading away into the snow-covered darkness.
Hold on, ripped open from the inside?
From the inside.
What?
Okay, that's strange.
And remember, this is February in the Urals. We're talking sub-zero temperatures, brutal winds, limited visibility. To leave the tent under those conditions without proper gear, it's just baffling.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Over the following weeks, the bodies of all 9 hikers are discovered scattered across the mountainside. And it's not just their locations that are strange. It's the injuries they sustained. Fractured skulls, broken ribs, even a missing tongue.
A missing tongue.
A missing tongue. Yet there were no signs of a struggle, no indication of a fight or anyone else at the scene.
Okay, so severe injuries, but no signs of struggle in a remote frozen wilderness. How do you even begin to explain that?
That's the question that has haunted researchers for decades. It defies simple explanations and opens the door to a whirlwind of theories.
Oh, I bet. And that's where we'll pick things up in the next part of our deep dive. We'll unravel the web of theories surrounding this incident, from the plausible to the downright bizarre.
Get ready for avalanches, UFOs, and maybe even a Yeti or two. Stay with us. All right, so we've set the scene, a remote mountain pass, 9 experienced hikers dead under mysterious circumstances. What happened on Dyatlov Pass?
Yeah, it's a question that's been bugging people for a long time.
Well, the lack of a clear explanation has fueled decades of speculation research and a whole host of theories.
Oh, yeah, you name it. Someone's probably come up with it as an explanation for this case.
And these theories run the gamut from natural disasters to secret government experiments and even encounters with the paranormal.
Right, from the totally plausible to the out there.
Let's start with the most straightforward explanation. Could a sudden avalanche have swept down the mountain, forcing the hikers to flee their tent in a desperate attempt to survive?
I mean, it's tempting to point to an avalanche, right? It's like the image of a wall of snow roaring down the mountain explains the ripped tent, the hikers' panicked flight.
Makes sense.
But the avalanche theory doesn't really hold up when you look closer.
How so?
Well, for one, avalanches leave behind telltale signs, debris patterns, impact marks, and there's no evidence of that at the site.
Interesting.
Plus, the Dyatlov group were experienced hikers. They would have known to avoid setting up camp in an avalanche-prone area.
Good point. So we can likely rule out an avalanche. What about those strange orange spheres reported in the sky around the time of the incident? Could the hikers have encountered something truly out of this world?
Ah, the UFO theory. Always a popular one.
Right.
It definitely plays into our fascination with the unknown and the possibility of extraterrestrial life.
For sure.
And witnesses seeing these glowing orbs in the night sky.
Oh, right.
But as captivating as the UFO theory is, there's absolutely no concrete evidence linking these lights to the hikers' deaths.
Okay.
It's a classic case of correlation, not causation. Just because something happened around the same time doesn't mean it caused the other thing.
So no avalanches, no aliens. What about the possibility of a conflict with the indigenous Mansi people who inhabited the region?
Right, the Mansi tribe theory. This one delves to the clash between modernity and tradition.
Huh.
The Mansi were known to be protective of their land and sacred sites.
Makes sense.
And some believe the hikers might have unknowingly trespassed, leading to a confrontation.
So maybe a territorial dispute.
It's a theory that taps into our fear of the unknown and the potential for cultural misunderstandings.
I can see that.
But again, there's no evidence to support it. The official investigation found no signs of any other people at the campsite, and the hikers' injuries weren't consistent with the weapons or tactics typically used by the Mansi.
So we've ruled out natural disasters, extraterrestrial encounters, and conflicts with indigenous tribes. What about the possibility of something more clandestine, like secret military activity in the area?
Oh, this is where things get really interesting. The military testing theory. This one suggests that the hikers might have stumbled upon a covert operation, maybe involving experimental weapons or technology,
Yep.
and were subsequently silenced to cover it up.
Wow.
The presence of radiation on some of the victims' clothing has been cited as potential evidence.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, fueling speculation about radioactive fallout or some kind of energy weapon.
The Cold War was at its peak in 1959, and the idea of secret government experiments gone wrong certainly adds a layer of intrigue to this already mysterious case. What kind of military tests could have been happening in such a remote area?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
And why would they need to silence a group of hikers?
See, that's the heart of the mystery. The military testing theory hinges on the idea of a cover-up, which is incredibly difficult to prove or disprove. We know that there are documented instances of the Soviet government conducting secret experiments and suppressing information.
Yeah, for sure.
But connecting those dots to the Dyatlov Pass incident requires a leap of faith.
Right. So we're left with another theory that's intriguing but ultimately lacks concrete evidence. What about the more outlandish theories like the involvement of a Yeti?
Okay, yeah, the Yeti theory. This one always gets a few laughs.
It's hard not to chuckle.
But it speaks to our enduring fascination with folklore and the unexplained right. The Yeti, or abominable snowman, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the Himalayas and other remote mountainous regions. Could a similar creature roam the Urals? And could it have been responsible for the hikers' deaths? It's definitely a question to ponder.
It's a wild theory for sure. But the injuries sustained by the hikers are so strange that some people are willing to consider any explanation, even one that involves a mythical creature.
Right. It's like when you're faced with something so baffling, you start to think outside the box, even if that box leads you to a Yeti.
The Yeti theory really highlights the limitations of our knowledge and our willingness to embrace the extraordinary when faced with the unexplainable.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that sometimes the most outlandish explanations can capture our imaginations, even in the face of more rational possibilities.
So we've explored a range of theories, from avalanches and UFOs to military cover-ups and even Yetis. But after all this speculation, what did the official investigation actually conclude?
We'll get this. After months of investigation, the Soviet authorities ultimately concluded that the hikers died due to a compelling natural force.
A compelling natural force.
Yep, that's it.
That's incredibly vague.
Hmm.
What natural force could explain such bizarre injuries and unusual behavior?
Right.
It's almost as if they were trying to avoid saying something more specific.
Ambiguity of the official conclusion has only added fuel to the fire of speculation.
Yeah, I can see why. It's led many to believe that there's more to the story than the authorities were willing to reveal. So after decades of research and countless theories, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains a puzzle with missing pieces, a story without a clear ending. We've examined the evidence, explored the possibilities, but ultimately the question remains.
What truly happened to the Dyatlov group? Were they victims of an unfortunate series of events, a tragic accident amplified by the harsh conditions of the wilderness? Or was there something more sinister at play, something that defies rational explanation? It's a mystery that continues to fascinate and frustrate us.
You know, it's fascinating how, even after all these years, all this research, the Dyatlov Pass incident still has this hold on us.
It really does. It's like a puzzle you can't put down, even though you might never solve it.
What is it about this case that keeps us so hooked?
Well, I think it's a combination of things, right? The unanswered questions, the unsettling details, that remoteness of the location.
It's like we're looking through a frosted window at something we can't quite make out.
Exactly. And then there's the official explanation, a compelling natural force.
Right, which tells us basically nothing.
It really doesn't. It doesn't address the specifics of the hikers' injuries, their behavior, those inconsistencies at the scene.
It's like they were trying to hide something.
And that lack of clarity just fuels the speculation. We try to connect the dots, but we're always missing a few pieces.
So if we were to take a step back and look at all the evidence, what are some of the most perplexing details that stand out?
I think for me, it's the injuries combined with the lack of signs of a struggle. You have fractured skulls, a missing tongue, severe internal damage, but no external wounds that suggest a fight.
So what could have caused that kind of trauma?
Right. It's a real head-scratcher. And then there's the fact that they ran from their tent, leaving behind essential gear and warm clothing. What would make them do that?
Especially in those conditions. Had to be something terrifying,
Some people suggest paradoxical undressing, which happens with hypothermia.
where they feel hot instead of cold.
Yeah, but that doesn't explain the ripped tent, the scattered belongings, or the fact that some hikers were found further down the mountainside like they were trying to get back to the tent.
It's like they were running from something and then changed their minds.
Right. And of course, we can't forget about those strange orange spheres in the sky.
What do you make of those?
Honestly, I don't know. They could have been anything: a meteorological anomaly, a military exercise, or something completely unexplained.
It just adds another layer of mystery to an already incredibly mysterious event.
It really does. So where does that leave us? We have a collection of fascinating but ultimately inconclusive theories, an official investigation that feels more like a cover-up than a genuine search for answers, and the enduring legacy of 9 young lives tragically lost under circumstances that continue to baffle and haunt us.
The Dyatlov Pass incident is a powerful reminder that some mysteries may never be solved. It challenges us to confront the unknown and accept that some questions may never have definitive answers.
And that's okay. Sometimes the not knowing the mystery itself is what keeps us intrigued.
What do you think happened to the Dyatlov group? Unfortunate events or something more sinister? Let us know in the comments. See you on the next mystery of